Okay, let's see. Okay, in this live stream, I'm going to be showing you some fictional futuristic. Hold on a second. I'm going to be showing you some fictional futuristic content that I'm making for the Trainz simulation series. Now, let me show you something. This is a fictional track that I'm working on for a futuristic train. It is designed as an object instead of a track because it's impossible to make train tracks glow in the dark in this game. So I designed it as an object so it would glow. This is the day animation though. In the future, I'll be working on the night animation. So let me show you where the inspiration from these tracks and the trains that I'll be working on comes from. This is a video game called Crash Nitro Kart. In one of the levels, you're racing in a train station and you have to avoid getting hit by the train. The inspiration that my sister used to design the concept art for the trains that I'll be making for this game comes partially from this game and from a newer version of the game. She said it was really hard to design the trains because most of the pictures that she could see the side of the train, it was very blurry, but she did manage to create some concept art, which is pretty cool. Right now I'm just focusing on the track because I can't even really design the train before I can design what the track's going to look like. I actually found out how to make it look reflective, which is pretty cool. So anyway, let's see if I can make a night animation for it. Okay, so when making a night animation for something, it always has to be slightly bigger than the daytime animation because if it's the same size, then they'll just overlap each other. So now let's see. The ramp would have to be slightly higher, so let me see something. Okay, I'm going to move this up a little bit. The textures can be the same for the night animation. The mesh just has to be bigger so that it can be seen over the original day animation. Because how this game is scripted, when it changes to nighttime, it'll just display the night mesh above the regular mesh. Okay, let's see. It just needs to be slightly higher, I think. Let's see now. I want the rails to glow in the dark too because in this game it appears to be that the rails for the train actually glow. And I'm not really they don't explain in the game how the train works because I guess that's not really the focus of it. But one theory that I have is that the train has like sensors on the undercarriage that detect the light being emitted from the track and then it just follows the track. Also, it doesn't even appear to be that the tracks themselves are solid because if you try to jump on the tracks in the game, the car just goes through it. So the tracks are probably actually made of light, which probably would be impossible in real life, but since it's fictional, it doesn't really have to doesn't really have to go by the laws of physics. So anyway, let's see if I can make a night animation. Okay, I need to make a rail that's slightly bigger than this one. Let's see, I have the dimensions for the rail written down somewhere. Let me look for it. Where'd I put that? Oh, here it is. Let's see, I wrote down the dimensions for the rail. I just need something that's slightly bigger than the current one. So, let's see, keyboard entry. The length is 3,048 centimeters. And this is going to be like a straight length of track. But it's going to be in the objects category so it can glow in the dark. So to put a train on the track, you'd have to place an invisible track on top of it and put the train on the invisible track. It's a little bit of a hassle, but it allows me to make it so it can glow in the dark. like most futuristic train tracks do. Okay, let's see. The width of the rail. Okay, so maybe I'll make it 16 centimeters. And the height of the rail. Okay, let's see. The height is 10 centimeters. It just has to be slightly bigger than that, so maybe 12 centimeters. Alright, now. Oh, shoot, I was in the wrong window. Control Z that. Control Z can be your best friend sometimes on these things. I still have not figured out how to rotate the camera in this thing so I could get a better angle of what I'm looking at, but every time I look it up online, I can't find any help on that. So I'm pretty much going blind. I usually test it in Content Creator Plus to see what it looks like. And if I don't like something, then I'll edit it based on what I saw. Okay, so gotta be really careful when moving this. Okay, move it slightly. Okay, hold on. I can actually get rid of the original rail too after I finish moving this into position. Okay, so what is this? Okay, so selecting the correct mesh is a little bit difficult when they're inside each other. Okay, I just want to select the one that's inside. Okay. Can't really see it from that angle. Oh well, that's fine. It can be inside the mesh as long as it's not visible. Okay. Currently have the rail selected. Now I'm gonna design a texture for it. Let's see. New texture. Now I'm designing the tracks to be color coded so that when the train travels over certain colored sections, it'll behave differently. The train itself won't actually be scripted that way. It'll just appear that way when you're watching it in automatic mode. I basically want it so that in normal mode the tracks are green. Perhaps they'll be blue at railroad crossings, and in sections where it's stopping at a station, the rails are going to be red. Yellow probably for curves or any sections where the train would have to slow down. But right now I'm just working on a random blue section. Now I haven't yet figured out how to make curved sections of track. That's something I'll have to save for a later time. Now at the very least I know how to make a straight section. Okay, so I need to create a new folder for the night mesh so I don't get the textures confused. Most content creators just call this folder night. It doesn't really matter. Now this is the texture for the actual rail that's going to light up. During the day it actually has a reflective texture so it appears to be glowing, which is something I like. So it's going to be blue light. Okay. Let's see. Okay, what else do I have? Oh yeah, I had to click apply to actually change the color. Now, one thing you should know that when exporting a mesh, it'll ignore anything that's not textured. So it has to be textured before you can actually export it to the game. Oh yeah, I have to texture these so that they can have night textures. Okay, so a new texture for this one. Actually, first, before I do that, let me just focus on the rails. Since I already have the dimensions for those saved. Alright, let's move that up, if it'll let me. And to the right. A little bit further to the left. Have to be very precise with this. Now, I plan to have the train hover over the track like maybe maybe about 3 to 6 inches. The trains in this game appear to be hovering over the track as well. I don't think they have any bogies or anything. So yeah, that actually makes it a lot easier because I don't know how to animate bogies yet. I'm gonna have to learn how to animate sooner or later though, because the concept art my sister drew for the train has a lot of moving parts to it. It has it has a fan that generates the air that causes the train to levitate. So yeah, that's something I'm gonna have to learn how to animate. I haven't decided what the train's gonna sound like yet. It'll probably, if possible, I'm gonna see if I can make it sound like this train. And maybe even have the same horn, but I'm not sure. Not sure if I could run into copyright trouble with that. If so, then I would make a fictional horn for it. Anyway, I need to, oops, wrong thing. Need to texture this rail. Okay, I think it's textured. Let me see if, yeah, it's textured. Okay, now, I don't plan for this mesh to glow in the dark, so I could just get rid of that. Any parts of the mesh that aren't going to glow in the dark aren't necessary. Okay, so these parts are going to glow in the dark because this is going to be like a tram track that operates in the middle of the street. Cars have to be aware of its presence. I actually, let's see. I have a lot of textures. Let me see what textures I want to use for the night animation. Let's see. This is actually a texture I plan on using for the roads. I also expect the lanes of the road to glow in the dark. So it's gonna have something like this. Okay. So yeah, the roads are gonna have lanes that glow in the dark as well. So I need to texture this. I need to create a new texture. I can't remember the name of the texture right now. Let me look for it. Okay, futuristic reflection is what I called this texture. Okay, finally found out how to make reflective textures, which was a lot of fun. Okay, now that the texture is in the right folder, I can reference it. Okay, now diffuse color. It's pretty much all you need for this texture. Alright, and then the same thing for this one. Now, theoretically, it should glow in the dark now. I still have to export it and then test it. Okay, before exporting, I have to make sure all the meshes are selected, so I export everything. I made the mistake of only exporting a certain section earlier. Okay, so export. Okay. I'll call this one track night. Do you wish to overwrite all existing textures? Okay, sure, fine. Okay, and I'll also save this as the night mesh. It's a good idea to save it in case you need to edit it later. Like if you found out that something didn't look quite right in the game and you want to change that, you're pretty much in a bad situation if you don't have access to the file anymore because you forgot to save the original. Okay, Control Shift E. I usually make the objects in Trainz 12 because Content Creator Plus is easier to use. It also allows me to make sure the content I'm making is backwards compatible with this game. Sometimes though, things I make for Trainz 12 don't work in Trainz A New Era or Trainz 2019, so I would end up having to make a separate version just for that. One good example of that is the Bodhi Island Lighthouse, which for some reason does not work in Trainz A New Era or Trainz 2019. I still haven't found out the reason for that. Anyway, I'm just going to import this night folder. It should have all the texture files and the mesh file. Yep. Actually, I don't need this because I already have it pasted. Okay, let me make sure it has all the files that I need. Oh, I don't need this file. That's the Gmax file. And if it's in there, it's going to say that it has an invalid file. Okay. Now I'm going to show you how to make a night mesh so that something can glow in the dark. I mean, I already made the mesh. Now I'm going to tell you how to tell the game to use this mesh at night. So first, what a lot of creators do, they click on, where is it? Light, and they have that checked. And the next thing they do, let's see, where is it? Night mode. If you have home selected, it means it'll turn on it'll probably turn on at dark, and then at around midnight, where most people go to bed, it'll turn off. Kind of like most households. Most people have this selected if it's a house, because obviously most humans don't leave their lights on all night unless there's something wrong with them, because that would run up their electric bill. If you have lamp selected, then it'll operate like a street light as far as when to turn on. Constant means it'll always be on, even during the daytime. Car means it'll turn on in the dark and turn on in the morning like a vehicle would. I usually select lamp if I want it on at night and off during the day. So now under mesh, this is the daytime mesh. And I'm going to right click on that and click add a mesh. Most people just call this one night. It makes it a lot easier and simpler. Now I'm going to select the mesh that I want, which is in the night folder. Texture, night, blue, haze, textures. I'll fix that later. That's not even one of the textures in the room. I mean, in the object. So this is pretty much what it's going to look like at night. Okay, so I have to right click on this and click, where is it? Night mesh base, and then type default. And that's pretty much it to make something glow in the dark. Now Control M to save that. It's gonna be faulty because of a texture error that I have to fix real quick. Let's see. First I gotta wait for it to submit the changes. Oh great, there's an error. Hold on. It's refreshing. Okay. Now Control Shift E. Okay, so copy that. Okay, don't need that anymore. Just need this. Okay, now I'm gonna use PebSoft to get rid of the unwanted .texture files. Alright, just like that, the unwanted texture file has been removed. Then I can just paste it back here, and it shouldn't give me any errors anymore. I'm still not sure how that happened. Alright, now I'm gonna test it in Trainz a New Era and Trainz 2019 to make sure it works in those games. Oh wait, is it still faulty? Night blue haze .texture. Okay, hold on. Luckily I still have that folder somewhere, that texture file somewhere. Okay, where are we? Blue haze. Okay. If you simply must have this file, okay then. Not really sure why, because I don't think I used that texture when making this object. Oh wait, do I already have it in here? Are these? Hold on a second. Why is this in the folder? Okay, what happens if I delete these? Because I don't think these were included. Sometimes adding a night mesh creates a bunch of errors that I have to figure out. Alright, is it not faulty yet? Okay, now it's not faulty. Now I'm going to press Ctrl Shift D to save it as a CDP file. Let's see, this PC. Alright, gotta wait for it to load. There we go. Alright, and after that I'm going to test it in the newer games to see if they work. It should work perfectly, as long as there aren't any errors wrong with it. Okay, so let's test it in Trainz 2019, because that's the stricter of the two games. If it works in this one, there shouldn't be any reason why it wouldn't work in Trainz a New Era. Okay, first I gotta wait for it to load. Don't have anything downloaded under Futuristic, because no one's made anything yet. And if you look in the download station, there's only one thing apparently. Well, there's about to be two things. Let's see. Import content files. Is there a one? Okay. Unsupported file type for Unsupported file type. That's weird. Never gotten that error before. Let me try again. That's weird. Let's see what happens if I try to import it on Trainz a New Era. I think it's telling me that one of the reflection textures that I use is no longer compatible with the newer version of the game, which means this would work fine in Trainz 12, but it might not work in the newer games. If that is the case, then I will have to make a different version. I'll have to make a different version for both versions of the game. Okay, so import content file. Alright, let's see if it'll work on this one. Come on now, click on it. Okay, it worked fine in this game. It actually allowed me to import it. Not sure why Trainz 2019 was giving me any trouble with it. Well, let's see if it'll actually install. It's taking a while. I hope it's not having any issues, because it usually doesn't take this long. The object isn't that big, is it? Okay, it says it was imported without any issues. Did I spell futuristic wrong in the title? Well, I'll make sure I fix that before I upload it. Okay, it says it's not faulty. Open preview asset. Let's see if it loads up. Okay, it's still loading. Okay, the reflective textures seem to work perfectly well in this game. I'm going to test the night animation real quick to see if it lights up properly. Then I'm going to try to figure out why it won't work in Trainz 2019. There's probably another way around it. Alright, anyway, let's just see what it looks like in the game. Okay, looks like it's still loading up. That's weird. What happened to all the stuff I had here? Oh well, I'll worry about that later. Alright, wait for it to load the map. Yeah, sometimes when you install something new in this game, the list has to refresh and reload everything before you can select anything. Okay, that didn't take as long as I thought. Okay. This is a 100-foot long section of a futuristic track for a hover train. I really like this reflective texture up here, but apparently it doesn't work on the Trainz 2019, so I'm going to have to figure out a way around that. Which is pretty sad, because I think it looks pretty nice the way it is. Okay, let's see what it looks like at night. Okay. Oh, good. The tracks glow in the dark just like I wanted. And of course, if you wanted a longer track, you just place another one down and move them into place. This is a little bit more painstaking than just laying down a track. But if I made it as a spline so that you could lay it down as a track, it wouldn't be able to light up at night because tracks can't glow in the dark in this game by default. And of course, to place a train on the track, you would use an invisible track and then just do it like this. I don't have any curved sections yet because I haven't yet learned how to make any. Hopefully in the future I will. Okay, have to make it a little bit taller than that. Something like that. I wonder if a regular train can fit between the rails on this fictional track. Let's see as soon as this thing loads. This might take a while. I really like the way the rails look on this. It actually turned out even better than I had imagined. Still waiting for this list to load. Who knows how long that'll take. In the meantime, let me try and figure out why this won't load up on Trainz 2019. It said one of the file types wasn't supported, but it usually doesn't have a problem with JPG files. It's usually only the dot texture files that cause a problem. But let's try again and see if it'll load this time. Man, all of these things are taking a long time to load. I haven't yet decided what the streets are going to look like, or the street signs for that matter. I'm going to try to make them in such a way that you could use them in any kind of country and it would still be understood. Maybe even come up with my own new street rules. Okay, let me exit out of the game. Oh wait, I forgot. I was seeing if... Oh man, I accidentally clicked don't save. Darn it. Oh well. Let's see. Import content. Let's try this again. I guess we can try it in this game. Okay, it's still saying unsupported file type. Futuristic reflections. Okay, so it's looking like it won't accept this unless I change one of the file types from JPG to some other file type, maybe like TGA. I'll check that first, but before I do that, I'm going to copy it in case changing it into a TGA ruins the file somehow. Okay, let me see. Where did I place the... Okay, here we go. First, I'm going to... Actually... I'll just clone it from here. Man, this thing is taking a long time to load. Maybe it's because I have this one loaded up. Let me try turning them all off. Sometimes having both of the games running at the same time slows it down. Okay, let's see. Man, this is taking a long time. Well, shoot, what can I do? Okay, finally loaded. Okay, I'm going to make a clone of this so that if whatever I do to edit it makes it faulty, I can just, I mean, I wouldn't have ruined the one that I just created. So I'm just going to clone this and then use that one in order to run tests on. Let's try to figure out how to make it forward compatible with Trainz 2019, because I want it to be usable on all three of these games, in case anyone has the older version of the game and still wants to use it. Okay, it's taking a long time to submit it as usual, because this computer is so slow. Alright, finally. Now for some tests. Okay, it's telling me that I think this is the one that is saying it wouldn't support. It's a JPG file. Actually, no, it was this one that it wasn't supporting. This one's a JPG file. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy and paste it here so it's easier to edit. Alright, then I'm going to go to GIMP and see if I can change it from a JPG file to a TGA file. Alright, it's finally started up. Alright, let's open. Okay. Export as, and then just change JPG to TGA. And it'll change it to a TGA file. Okay, exit out of that. Minimize all these for now. Okay, where did I put it? Oh, here it is. Copy. Where is it? Paste. Okay, now delete this one. And instead of JPG, use a TGA. I'm not sure why it would rather I use a TGA over a JPG, but sometimes JPG files do trigger errors. This is the specific one that's triggering the error. I'm sure there's some kind of reasoning behind it, like maybe a script. Okay, let's see. Alright, so this is the new one with the edited textures using TGAs instead of JPGs. Let's see if this version it'll let me use on Trainz 2019 once it finishes submitting. How much space does this take up? 20.9 megabytes? 41.4 megabytes. I might have made the textures a little bit too detailed. In the future, I'll try to texture them down a little bit so that it won't end up destroying your computer. Because who knows, it might not even run on my computer with textures that big. Okay, show preview. First, okay, it still appears the way I intended it to appear in this game. Let's see if it'll let me use it in the other game. Export to CDP. Alright, so okay. Alright, now let's try importing this version. Oops. Okay, now let's see what happens if I try to import it. Ugh, it's still showing me a warning. Unsupported file type. But it's not even using that. Okay, let me try another. Alright. All the files should be in this folder. Oh wait, except for the... Okay, let me try something. So... show in Explorer. I'm going to try copying all of these. Putting them in a new folder and telling it to import the folder. Man, I've never had this error before. This is new to me. Okay, so import content folder. Alright, it's scanning for content. Oh wait, did I put it in the folder? Hold on. Oh, I forgot to put everything in the folder. No wonder I couldn't find anything. There we go. Let's try that again. Import content folder. Alright, it's installing it this time, so it shouldn't be faulty. Alright, not sure how long it's going to take to install it. Okay, it says it was installed with 0 errors and 0 warnings, so it should work in this game without any issues. Okay, that's good to hear. Now I know that it'll work in all 3 versions. Oh yeah, I forgot to preview it. Okay, hold on. See what it looks like in this version of the game. The reflection actually looks a little different. It looks closer to what my original intentions were actually, which is pretty interesting. It's a mixture of 2 different types of textures. One is a yellow and black warning for letting you know that you're approaching the tracks. And then there's a reflective texture underneath it. That's actually what I was trying to have it do in the beginning. It looks like it works better in this version of the game. Well, I'm gonna take a look at this in the newer version of the game and see what it looks like. It actually looks better in this game than it does in the older ones. Out how to get the Japanese maglev and the Shinkansen 500 series to work in this game. All you have to do is replace the engine spec. I don't know why, but replacing the engine spec that comes with those trains with a TGV engine spec or any other built-in engine spec seems to solve the problem. Anyway, what's the name of the... Again, I'm gonna make sure this is spelled correctly when I export it. Wow, that looks nice. Nice and reflective. Oh, look at that. It even reflects the sunlight. Huh. Oh yeah, since this is designed to be like a tram track that can also cross the road, let's see what it looks like here. Okay. A car might be able to cross that, I'm not sure. Maybe if you lift the road slightly or lower the tracks a little bit. A car might be able to cross over that. Anyway. Anyway, what I was planning on doing was seeing if the rails were close enough together that you could put an actual train on it. In the meantime, while I'm trying to figure out how to make the one that I have, let's see. Let's see what would happen if you tried to put a regular train on these tracks. Would the wheels even fit in the rails the way I have it set up? Or is it only going to be compatible with whatever train I design for it? Alright, let's look for any random train. Let's see what narrow gauge locomotives would look like on it. The train is actually slightly above the rails, the way this is set up. So it looks like it won't be compatible with a regular train, which makes sense because it's designed for a fictional hover train that's going to hover above the rails. What about a regular passenger car that's standard gauge? It's not appearing. Let's try something else. Oh wait, hold on. I think it's about to appear. Let's try something else. Oh. Is the list still loading? Oh, here we go. It's about to do something. Okay, it did load the passenger car earlier. These wheels almost look like they're on the track. Let me see if I can get closer. Look at the bogies. Not sure, but I think the wheels actually are on the track. That's good to know. So you might be able to get away with running a regular train on it. Though that's technically not the intention. Well, that's all I have for now. In the next part of this series, maybe I'll show you how I designed the roads, or what I think the roads should look like in this fictional futuristic universe. But for now, that's it for this live stream. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.